everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hash Time With Eitan. Thank you for tuning in today to the 11th episode. We have Nadav with us here today. Nadav, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's great to have you here. Just before we get in, I'd like to say a couple things. First of all, really like to say thank you for all the love and support we've been getting. It really means a lot to us. Reading your guys' comments and seeing you guys watching our videos really means a lot to me and Nadav. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel. Feel free to tell anyone about it, your friends, family, arch nemesis, whatever. Second of all, we'd like to give a giant thank you to our friends over at Fatal Grips for being the sponsor of this video. In case you don't know, Fatal Grips specializes in grips for your PS4 and Xbox thumbsticks as well as Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. Alright, we're going to leave the link down to their website in the description as well as their Instagram. Special thank you to them for being the sponsor of this video.
And even if you don't do gaming grips, like if you use a computer, they also sell very nice computer like keyboards, headsets, and mice.
They sell a lot of different things.
Go check them out. Pretty cool guys.
If you're going to go check them out, please use code HashTimeWithEitan or capital HTWE in there when you're checking out to support us. We get a little bit of your guys' purchase if you want to help us out.
And you get 10% off.
And you get 10% off.
Which is already off the amazing price.
So thank you guys for tuning in today. And with that, we're going to get started because today we're doing part 3 of camp stories. So today we're going to be going over the 2 stories from H2O camp, which is water camp for those of you who don't know.
So more detail on what it is. It's a camp where you drive down to the YMCA lake and jump in.
Well, technically it's a lagoon.
You just killed a vibe.
Okay, YMCA Lagoon. I have to be correct about that. Lagoon. The YMCA Lagoon. It's really fun down there. They have a bunch of different activities in the water, such as paddleboarding, swimming, this giant, on-the-water trampoline, this giant slide that goes into the water, as well as my favorite, the blob, which is a giant bag of air that you can be launched off of.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Exactly what it sounds like. Right, so this story takes place one fateful day at H2O camp, right? I met some friends there, it was a really good experience overall, right? But my favorite thing to do was the blob, okay? So basically, what we do is we'd be able to go there for a little bit, like an hour and a half, then we eat lunch, go for another hour and a half, and then go back to home, right? And
of course, after spending 20 minutes trying to put over wet underwear on when you're all soaking wet, because that's just a joy.
Putting on underwear when you're soaking wet is not that easy. It's really hard.
And there was this huge issue of, so people want to put on socks, but the problem is they get out of the water, all the dirt sticks to their feet, so you have to wash your feet, and then make it to the changing room.
And there's a giant line for that.
And so it was just so you had to be so careful not to get any dirt on your feet. I would end up just after half an hour, just to stick my socks and deal with the probably 2 ounces of rocks in my socks.
Rocks in your socks. Yeah,
the socks. And
we got the next Dr. Seuss over here. Anyway, so my favorite thing to do during most of that time was the blob. So basically what it is there's this platform, and below it there's this giant bag of air. One person sits on the end of it, and another person jumps off of the platform onto the other side of it, launching the person into the water, right? So the issue is some kids wanted to launch people because it was really fun to jump off that tall thing onto a cushiony bag of air, and other people wanted to be launched because they love being careened into the water.
Okay, here's the thing with the blob. I honestly did not enjoy the experience because it was so nerve-wracking sitting on the end in the huge 6 foot tall counselor's like, hey, why don't I do it? And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I feel
the raft get lighter,
go up a little, and then before I can even think, oh, no, just
boom,
20 feet in the air, right on my face every time.
Well, see, my favorite part of it was I was what's called the perfect weight for the airbag. The perfect weight is between 70 and 90, and I'm about 80 pounds. So it's really, really perfect weight. And so I'd have a 300 pound or 270 pound counselor jump and launch me 20 feet into the air. And every single time I went, the lifeguard had to swim out to make sure I was okay because of how high I went. Most of the other kids didn't have to do that for. But once you went over a certain height marker, the lifeguard would have to swim out to get you because
once you go above the platform.
Yeah, one of the worst parts of this though is coming down, because when you come down, you land straight on your feet. Your feet slap against the water, and it really hurts, but it's really worth it. And I never had the balls to do a flip on one of these things. right? I've seen where like kids do flips on it, but I don't want to do a flip because it seems like, you know, it's not really it's not really worth it, because if you fall on anything but your feet, you know, you're gonna have a hard time. I once did a flip accidentally, but that didn't end very well.
Once we were doing it with a couple of friends we met, and so one of these guys was like our age, but like really small. Like he was probably, I think, 4'7", and like was really
tiny.
And then the other guy, he was taller and bigger. And so we decided, hey, what if 3 of us jump on one side while the other guy's on the other? And we ended up doing that. That guy experienced flight.
This guy went like so high.
He just went. Like, I'm pretty sure he got singed on it when he was coming down.
He got singed from the sun on his way down. But, yeah, so one of the issues with the airbag is the whole, like, evenness of it.
Yeah.
So, here's
half
the thing.
The time, kids would fall off, and then that was their turn.
And then, so here's the issue. So the whole point of the airbag is the person on one side displaces a certain amount of air, and then when the person jumps, they displace even more, and it shoots the other person off. And the issue with this is that if you were too light and a heavy person, like, shot you out, it would be really hurting. Like, it'd hurt a lot for the heavier person because there's not as much of an air cushion. You'd really just be landing on a solid bag, right? There'd be no, like, cushiony part. It'd just be a bag of air, which would hurt. So they really made sure that the smaller kids were launching smaller kids and the bigger adults were launching the bigger kids. And the other issue was the small kids launching the big kids. Because sometimes you wouldn't even make it off the bag. They just like hit the bag and bounce off, right? Because that's what happened, right? It's they don't displace enough air to shoot me out. So basically, what happened is this kid was like, I'm gonna shoot you like 900 feet in the air. You just wait and see.
Not even hitting.
That's why I was sitting on the edge. No, he jumped off. And since he was so light, I just bobbed up like 2 feet and then went back down. And I ended up blobbing him. It was kind of like a reverse effect over there.
And the one problem is, so like you would stay up on there for 10 minutes and you'd have to take turns because not everyone can like free everywhere. So one time I ended up, it wasn't the blob, it was like a trampoline. I ended up coming back and all of a sudden I felt this really sharp pain in my hand and realized I got stung by a jellyfish. And so I ended up swimming to the lifeguard, and it turns out he was on break. He went to go to a restaurant, and when he comes back, turns out we were out of the lotion.
Yeah, very inconvenient.
He was joking about peeing on my hand, but at that point, I wasn't really having it. And so I asked him, like, how's there a jellyfish in the lagoon? He said, oh, that was probably a dead one. So not only did I get stung by a jellyfish, this one was dead.
The highest level of disrespect.
I almost did pee on my hand. I was that desperate. Ended up just not hurting after a little bit.
Kids walks around the corner, sees your friend peeing on their own hand. I can explain. Really, I can. But
look, Haley's Comet.
Yeah. Well, one of the more that part was really exciting, especially one of the other water activities. That's another part. Well, so one of the the two most popular things were the blob and paddleboarding. So imagine this: 3 paddleboards for 26 kids. Okay, it wasn't a good mix. You had to make turns, and people would wait the whole time to go. We went a couple times ourselves, but I mainly stick to the blob, and Nadav just hung around with me.
I like the paddleboards, though.
He liked the paddleboards.
And so you would end up paddling to the other side of the lagoon. And on this other side of the lagoon, there was an island, like the other side, and there was this monstrosity of a crab.
There was a ginormous crab there. They called him king crab.
And the king crab had these mini little henchman sand crabs that the little kids would like say, "Hey, can I hitch a ride?" and take a little plastic bucket and pick them up.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would think, "Ooh, living crustaceans." Like, what are you gonna do? Cook them?
Yeah.
In the water in the hottest thing, which is a water faucet. That's like
in the bathroom.
In the bathroom, that max hits like 40 degrees.
Yeah. Well, basically, what ended up happening is that kids would keep going there and disturbing all the crabs. So the lifeguard was just the the lifeguard assumed like nature, like god of nature role, and started like banning kids from going there. Like, don't hurt the crabs, you're gonna hurt the crabs.
The other fun part of paddleboarding was that right next to this island there was this really nice like little waterfall spot. And I'm not kidding you. Me and some other kids literally did yoga on paddleboards that were like well in the deep end.
It was like it was pretty zen over there.
Yeah, I was like, and now you do the dog, and so it's okay, and then you're just from the other side of like you're what a splash. Oh, it's cool.
You know, that's out of all the summer camps I had to miss out on this year. That'd probably be the one I'd miss out the most. I'm really
it's like I think
really
90 degrees right now.
I'm really truly sad that we didn't get to go to camp this year. If I were to choose one, I'd either choose paintball camp or H2O. Honestly, they're the best camps I've ever went to. I could do it for months on end, going every day. And to be honest.
The only thing about the HGO camp is it gets boring after 4 days because you're doing the same thing.
No, that's the thing. Is that, well, I really like the blob, so I do it every day. I mean,
every day.
No, because let's say there's like 7 different activities. If you do one every day, you could go for a week, and then you could do multiple. Yeah, so that was our camp experience from H2O. Right, and we'd like to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Hash Time With Eitan. Thank you for coming out and joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. And thank you one more time to Fatal Grips for sponsoring this video.
We'd really like to thank you guys.
Remember, use code HTWE.
Use code HTWE when you're checking. All caps, no spaces.
10% off on already the good prices.
10% on already all the half-off prices on the website. They're really good. All of their stuff is really nice. PS4, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, any console, any platform. They also sell stuff for PC, from headsets to mouse pads. It really, really is a great website. And yeah, so special shout out to them for sponsoring this video. Thanks for doing that. Alright, so yeah, have a great day.